Welcome to the program, and I want to just give you a warning at the top of the show. There's some heavy subjects we're going to deal with tonight, really heavy subjects with some graphic video and issues, but they're all important. They are all part of our system of justice, and for some people at this point, they believe it's a level of injustice. So we're going to show you things that, you don't see every day, and we're going to analyze them. We're going to try to figure out what's going on and why it is all happening, okay? That's our mission here at Court TV. That is our mission, and it's not about just showing you videos, but it's trying to figure out what does it mean, and how does that happen, and why is this happening or not happening tonight? And those issues are part of several stories we're talking about tonight. But we begin with one that everyone's talking about, including former Vice President Joe Biden. And it's the case in Georgia involving a young man named Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot and killed in Georgia while going for a jog. The video is going viral tonight. Everyone is talking about it. So we are going to talk about it tonight as well. And we will take a look at that video. Joining me tonight, we have the best team of legal journalists in the business. Ashley Banfield, Julie Grant, Chanley Painter, all here ready to go. But we're going to begin again with this story, with the video. Chanley Painter is going to fill us in on those details. Again, a graphic warning ahead of time. Kids in the room, no, get them out right now. Get them out. You can talk about this afterwards, but I want you to see it before they see it, okay? Here's Chanley Painter.
Hello. 911, what's the address your emergency?
It's Sunday, February 23rd, 2020.
Stop, what's that? Stop. Travis. Sir, hello.
A couple of 911 calls pour into Glenn County, Georgia Emergency Services.
Okay. Gregory's out here. There's a guy in the house right now. Is the house under construction?
Okay, do you have your address or that house's address?
Right at 219 or 220 Satilla Drive.
And you said someone's breaking into it right now?
No, it's all open. It's under construction. And he's running right now. There he goes right now.
This caller reporting a trespassing on a house under construction on Satilla Drive in the town of Brunswick. The caller goes on to say,
and he's been caught on the camera a bunch before at night. Kind of an ongoing thing out here.
Moments later, 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery is shot to death, and it's all caught on camera. This video captures Arbery jogging along the road as he tries to maneuver around the front of a white pickup truck. That's the first blast. Arbery is seen struggling with the man holding the shotgun. Then, off camera, a second blast. The two men reappear and the struggle continues before a third gunshot. This time, Arbery appears to back away and start to run before collapsing on the ground.
We expect an arrest to be made. We don't want to wait another hour, really. There is nothing stopping the persons empowered from arresting these murderers and their accomplices and prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law.
According to Arbery's family, this is nothing short of murder. Outrage in the community is growing, and there are calls for the immediate arrest of the men involved in the shooting. According to the police report, Gregory McMichael is the man standing in the bed of the white truck. He is a former investigator with the local prosecutor's office. While Travis McMichael, his son, is the man with the shotgun. They told the police that Arbery was a suspect in a number of neighborhood break-ins and initiated the fight. But Arbery's mother, Wanda Jones, says her son was simply jogging along his normal route.
I went 6 weeks, 7 weeks, it was mind-boggling because I couldn't get any help. I couldn't get anybody to take my story. I couldn't get anybody to listen because they was going solely on what they read in the articles that Ahmaud had did something wrong.
Over the course of 2 months, the case has been moved a couple of times to alternate jurisdictions because of the elder McMichael's connection to Brunswick's DA's office. A new prosecutor says the case will go to a grand jury to decide if criminal charges should be brought against the McMichaels.
Now, there are a lot of issues relative to this case and this investigation that we need to go through, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take not just tonight, it's going to take days, weeks, and months. But let's begin with that video. Let me bring everyone in tonight. Let's start with what we see in the video. And from my perspective, I see someone with a video camera following this man jogging, right? And then I see a car parked ahead of him that has stopped in the road, that he's approaching and he's trying to go around, and then we see what we see. But from my perspective, I'm wondering, why is one car stopped in front? Why is there someone else in a car videotaping behind him? Ashley Banfield, what do you see when you watch this video?
You know, I see an incredible piece of evidence in a case that is most certainly going to go forward. First of all, I'm just extraordinarily distressed watching it. Court TV, in its good judgment, has chosen not to show the moment that that young man falls to his death, but that is on video. And while our viewers aren't going to see it because of the ethics involved in showing that kind of thing on television, jurors will see all of it. They will be sickened by it. I don't care your racial politics. It is not easy to see a man die like this, especially when you know the circumstances. And I think, you know, the question will be, will jurors believe the story of the McMichaels, dad and son, in that they were making a citizen's arrest? Because it's kind of hard to swallow, not going to lie.
Julie Grant, your first reaction to that video?
Well, my first reaction is horror and sadness, Vinny. Ahmaud Arbery's family has every right to be devastated and outraged at this. And when I see it, of course, I'm going to look at it like a prosecutor would, right? That's what I was for a time. I served in that role. And when I watch that video, two big things jump out at me. One is the fact that that truck was parked there waiting for him. There's a concept in criminal law, the principle of lying in wait. We see it sometimes with premeditated murder. And to me, when you see that truck parked illegally in the middle of the street, two men out of the car and positioned, armed with weapons, waiting for someone, apparently, that's quite disturbing, and certainly something that I believe this prosecutor will present to that grand jury. The second thing I think about is when I see that video and the person, whomever is filming this, to me, the thing that jumps out to me is potential stalking here. Why was that person running a camera and filming Ahmaud Arbery as he was going on his jog and filming some of this just dreadful encounter? So those are the two big things that jump out at me, and certainly things that I think will be presented to this grand jury for consideration in entering an indictment, Vinny.
All right, it's Chanley. There's a police report that I know you've gone through. We've seen the video. How do they compare? How do you compare what's in the police report, right, which is what witnesses are saying, versus what we see in the video?
Well, first of all, the police report comes from the one and only witness who spoke to the police, and that is Gregory McMichael, who's a longtime former investigator for that local DA's office. He even worked for the Glenn County Police Department for 7 years prior to that. He's the one telling the officers what happened in those moments. He says that he was in his front yard and he saw the suspect and yelled to his son Travis, quote, "The guy is running down the street, let's go." They both grabbed their weapons. They didn't know if the male was armed or not. And then McMichael told police that he yelled at the suspect to stop. We just want to speak with you. We want to ask you a question. And then stop again before the gunshot started. But here, Vinny, it says the suspect, quote, violently attacked Travis, the son, and the two men started fighting over the shotgun. In this police report, it only says that there were 2 shots fired. Clearly in the video, you hear 3 shots that are fired. It also goes on to talk about after Arbery is deceased on the ground, that McMichael goes to turn him over to see if there's a weapon. We know now he's unarmed, but interestingly, the police report doesn't confirm or deny any of that information.
As we watch the video, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the battle for this shotgun that we see on camera happens after the first shot is fired. Correct, Chanley? Am I getting that right?
Right. You can see Arbery, he avoids, runs to evade the white truck, comes back around the front of it. That's when you hear the first shot fired. Then you see the tussle begin over the shotgun, and then 2 more shots fired. We know that Arbery, based on reporting, that was shot twice during this altercation, but there were 3 shots actually fired.
All right. Ashley, you know, there's several things that I think they may say happened here, that it was self-defense, that it was an accident, but now we're talking about 3 shots, first shot fired before there was ever any physical contact between Ahmaud and the younger of the McMichaels with the shotgun.
Yeah, Travis. Look, Vinny, look, I'm no lawyer, right? But I've covered this for 33 years. And I know that if you bring a gun to an unplanned fight with an unarmed man who had no idea there was an invitation, you don't usually get the luxury of saying self-defense. And if you're going to claim that this was a citizen's arrest, what was your probable cause? And you don't really have the same rights as the police. And you can't shoot a man. Police can't shoot a man who has been shot and is pushing to get away. Like you can't shoot a fleeing felon in the back unless there's a imminent threat of risk to others. I think that this is going to be a massive uphill battle for the McMichaels. I personally just can't see the things that they're saying as a defense.
Yeah, and amazingly, to this point, they're winning that uphill battle up until this point. But there's a new prosecutor involved. Julie Grant, here's something else that jumped out to me. We want to ask you some questions. Now, I don't know what happened before the video started. I mean, that's, we'll find out as more information comes out. But if I'm jogging and I see a truck stopped right in front of me with one person on the back of the truck with a gun and someone outside with a shotgun, I want to ask, no, I don't have to stop and answer questions from 2 people. To me, that is insane that you think that you can I mean, and the guy on the back, right? He's the former police officer, so I guess he forgot that he retired.
Yeah, perhaps, Vinny. I completely agree. I mean, it is insane. And when we think of something like a citizen's arrest, and this is something that's rare, oftentimes we don't even think about it or know what the laws are surrounding them. But the example I think that's a really good one to use is maybe the case of shoplifting, right? If you see somebody shoplifting and maybe you're helping someone who's store security, keep someone from leaving a scene of a crime. Okay. To me, this is not that. This is a far cry from that. And what makes it worse to me, if this Gregory McMichael had that experience as a former police officer, former DA investigator, he would know how investigations go, right? So if he thought that Ahmaud Arbery was involved with burglaries in the neighborhood or a trespass or whatever the case may be, there's nothing stopping him from, hey, being civil and saying, hey, could you tell me your name? Or, hey, I heard that perhaps you were on that property, or ascertaining some information to give to law enforcement to do a proper investigation. This was more than appalling. I mean, this is absolutely atrocious. I can't understand how this could ever be viewed as a justifiable homicide, Vinny. No way, in my opinion, no way.
Chanley, one thing, there's a GoFundMe on this case, on this story?
There is a GoFundMe. It was actually started with permission of Arbery's mother, but his best friend, Akeem, has put this together to help raise money for the family now who does not have Ahmaud anymore. It goes through, there's a narrative about Ahmaud, who he was and what happened that day. This says that, there was no evidence of an alleged burglary that day. It's been nearly 6 weeks. Nothing has been done to charge Travis and Greg McMichael, and it alleges racial profiling in this whole encounter and incident that happened, and it's asking for money. And it's I Run with Ahmaud is what the group is called. There's also a Facebook page, and even last night there was a protest down that same street where he was shot and killed, all chanting I Run with Ahmaud. It sort of started this whole movement since that video has been released.
Hey, Vinny.
All right, Chanley, thanks so much.
Vin,
sure.
Just quickly, you're on a panel with 3 women, and I'm sure that at one time or another, Julie and Chanley, have done what I've done. We've gone out running, maybe when it wasn't bright daylight, and it's a little nerve-wracking. And I can tell you right now, if we were out running, I speak for both of my friends here, and a truck pulled up behind us, we would not stop to talk to them. We would run like hell. And if they got out and they had a gun, we would fight like hell. And I don't see why Ahmaud should be any different.
Yeah, I think that's what this case is going to ultimately be all about.